The first round of tournaments in the new meta have officially wrapped up, and today I want to talk about the top 10 best new decks using cards from Shining Revelry. What are the fun new ways to play these cards that won't send you tumbling back to Pokeball tier? If you're new to the channel, a little bit about myself. I am a long-time Pokemon TCG player. I've been playing for over 10 years, and recently I've done quite well at some of the largest tournaments that happen in Pokemon Pocket. So if you're looking for a new channel to watch that likes to balance fun content as well as real tournament gameplay, make sure you sub, like the video. I would really appreciate it. At number 10, we have Wugtrio with Greninja. I talked the most smack on this card when it came out, but it looks like there is a way to play it that is at least somewhat viable. So what we have here is Wugtrio, Greninja, and Druddigon. You sit behind the Druddigon while you build up your little Wugtrio in the back. And we have Greninja to add some extra damage to Wugtrio's already, sniping kind of everywhere attack. This deck really punishes 18 trainer decks. They only have a couple Pokemon in play at one time, max 2, maybe even just 1. You can sometimes win games against them by just getting a fast Wugtrio online and using that attack, and it does 150, knocks out that Pokemon, nothing they can really do. So, best matchups for this is going to be those 18 trainer decks. Even if they get off to a fast start, you can just sit behind Druddigon while you build up the Wugtrio. It's going to be very hard for them to overcome 2 Wugtrio attacks with a Greninja sniping as well, but it can also do well against some of the other big decks in the meta. I mean, you have Greninja and Wugtrio just throwing damage around all the time. I'm putting this at number 10 because I still don't think Wugtrio is really the greatest attacker. Wugtrio can lose pretty hard to your opponent getting a fast setup, setting up their Pokemon and attacking before your Wugtrio is online. There's a lot of Pokemon here. Things can get a little bit clunky. And then if your opponent, then you think early game you can lose due to them setting up really fast. Late game you can lose if they just have a bunch of Pokemon in play. They have a ton of Pokemon in play, big Pokemon. Think the Darkrai Giratina deck. That's a lot of HP that you don't get to choose who you're damaging. It can get pretty tough. Your Wugtrio just might not be able to take the 3 prizes that you need it to. So Wugtrio at number 10. If you pulled 2 of them like I did, you can go out, you can try this deck, try to make it work. Here at number 9, we have the new Pikachu. What is the best way to play Pikachu? Well, from everything I've seen in tournaments, this seems to be the best way to do it. We got Pachirisu with the Magnezone, and then the one-of Pikachu in the back. Now, the Pikachu kind of just serves to be the late-game attacker who's going to finish off the game. We're going to use Pachirisu to get some extra energy in play early game. Then we're going to pivot into our Magnezones. Magnezone is going to get free energy onto itself thanks to Magneton. So you're free to attach to the Pikachu, get him built up. He's ready to go at the end of the game to take those final 2 prizes, maybe that last prize. Magnezone's going to be the middle attacker. He's going to try to get you that 1 prize or the 2 prizes so that when Pikachu comes up, he can clean up the game. Now, this deck does have some weaknesses. There's a lot of Druddigon going around, and Pachirisu attacking into a Druddigon while your opponent is also pinging the Pachirisu with Darkrai really stinks. It is not fun to try and do that. That's why I almost wish Pachirisu did no damage, because then we wouldn't have to worry about doing 20 to ourselves for Druddigon. But that's a big problem with Pachirisu. It's also just a little bit inconsistent. We're a stage 2. We have a very specific pathing. Other stage 2 decks do a little bit better because those stage 2 decks are like, okay, this is at the end of the game, we're going to attack with our stage 2. This is more so like in the middle of the game, pretty quickly, we need to get our stage 2 online to start taking prizes so Pikachu can clean things up. You're not really going to want... There is a path. You could go an early Pikachu and then a Magnezone to follow up, but your opponent's going to be able to knock out a Pachirisu for game after they've taken out the Pikachu if he attacked early. It gets a little tricky. You really want to be focusing on attacking with the Magnezone first and then the Pikachu at the end of the game. And just from what I've played, it just hasn't felt as good as you would want it to. 120 HP on the Pikachu is so low. It's so low. It's so easy for these big top decks to knock out the Pikachu. If you start with him and you can't move him, if you use him too early, he's going to get knocked out in return. If Pachirisu gets knocked out, you can get into a weird spot where they could Sabrina up the Pikachu and you just lose the game that way. It hasn't felt as good as I would want it to, but it's doing okay in tournaments. This seems to be the best way to play the new Pikachu. So if you've got a couple Pikachus laying around, go give it a try. It's a lot of fun, though. It's a lot of fun to use the Pikachu and spam that 150, get that final prize. I love just big nuclear options in decks. It's a lot of fun. Now, this is a pretty fun one. Okay, we have... It looks just like a regular old Darkrai Giratina list, but we're using the Grafai. I think that's how you say his name. I don't know. He's a cool Pokemon. I love him. We're using the Grafai to get a little bit of extra damage in play, in addition to the already, you know, big damage we could put out with Giratina, with Darkrai. It's very cool. It's very cool. So Grafai, what he does, in case you don't know, he is pretty under the radar right now. You flip a coin, and if heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. So if you can hit that heads flip, you're now going to be building up a lot of residual damage. If you're playing against another Druddigon deck, you're now not only doing 20 from the Darkrai, but potentially adding that poison damage in. Their Druddigon is not going to be an effective wall. It's going to get knocked out pretty quickly between all of that passive damage you're doing. Other than that, it's fairly similar to the regular Darkrai Giratina you've seen before. It's just opting to play the Grafai to give it a little bit of a twist. Here at number 7, we have the brand new Charizard EX, and we do have the Sinister Wigglytuff here. Okay, I pulled 6 of them, man. 6 of them. How? Why? Anyways, so the new Charizard, if you're going for a strategy of just using this new Charizard, not using the one from Genetic Apex, it has a problem. You put this big stage 2 in the active spot, and you have to use that Stoke attack to get it going, get it set up, ready to attack. Using a stage 2, putting a stage 2 in the active spot and just saying, hey, come hit me, not the best. So we have the Wigglytuff here to heal up our Charizard, take a couple damage counters off of him, make sure he stays healthy so he can win the game all on his own. The rest of the list, pretty standard. I mean, we're playing 2 Iono in order to draw into our evolution pieces, get everything going. This deck does seem like it's pretty inconsistent. We're running a stage 2 and a stage 1 line. We don't have room for any communications. We need that red to be able to hit that 170 number on Charizard. It's a pretty important number to hit right now, because otherwise Charizard's just doing 150. He's not going to be able to really knock out anything. But this seems to be the best way to play this new Charizard. And the way that the meta has sort of developed is there's not a lot of Mew going around, which early on I thought, okay, we run one of these new Charizards in the old Charizard deck, and now we have our Mew counter. Well, again, there's not a lot of Mew in the meta. It's kind of hard to find those Mew cards, so it really hasn't been the most worthwhile card. You're usually communicating it away to try to find the new Charizard. So I'm going to show you guys the updated new Charizard list. This is fine if you want to play the new Charizard that just came out, but I'm going to show you the way better way to play Charizard right now. It is the same Charizard you've known and loved. The only difference is now we have Iono, making this deck much more consistent. We now have 4 draw supporters, makes getting your Charizard online a lot easier. You can see we're heavily leaning into consistency. 2 research, 2 communication, 2 Iono. We are trying to just set up this Charizard as fast as possible, because against most decks, you do still have that win condition of, hey, I set up a Charizard with 5 energy on it. I'm going to retreat into it. I'm going to use Crimson Storm twice in a row, and that's the game. You can't really do anything to stop it. Charizard, just as powerful as ever. This is a great list with the added consistency. I would give this one a go before the other one, but if you really want to play the new Charizard, you guys know what to do. I'm sure you've been curious about Beedrill. How is he doing in tournaments? Well, at our number 6 spot, we have Exeggutor Beedrill. Every single tournament deck I've seen that is playing Beedrill has opted to go for the Exeggutor line. I think it's very scary to deal with an Exeggutor as any deck. I mean, just so much HP. You're pumping out either 40 or 80 damage. You could buff it with the red as well. Dude, just a super scary card to deal with. And then we have the Beedrill in the back. Yes, I know I'm missing one shiny Weedle. I know, I'm broke. I get it. I'm sorry. This isn't a perfectly blinged out deck list. That's my bad. I do really want that last shiny Weedle though, because look how good they look. All right, Beedrill, he's going to be your end game attacker. And he is so difficult to deal with because he is going to... Not only does he have a lot of HP, very hard for your opponent to get a one-shot on it. Although Giratina can, with a Darkrai Ping plus a, plus a red. What Beedrill is going to allow you to do, though, is unless your opponent has had the forethought or the foresight to attach 5 energies on Giratina, you're going to be able to attack that Giratina with Beedrill, remove an energy, and now they have to attach to the Giratina again. They can't put that Darkrai ping on you because the attachment has to go to the Giratina. We're also trying to be as annoying as possible, so you're going early game, Executor, putting massive damage out. Then you're using Team Rocket Grunt to deny your opponent's energy, and then finally Beedrill is going to be the end game attacker, and it's kind of just going to mess up your opponent's strategy unless again they've got all in 5 energy on a Giratina, which the Darkrai Giratina deck usually can't do. And Beedrill is going to be fine to just clean up the game for you after Executor has put in the work, gotten that first 1 or 2 prizes that you needed. Very, very, very fun deck. I love this new Beedrill card. It is probably my favorite card out of the set. As far as just fun goes, the Weedle Kakuna line is fantastic. Weedle multiplies, gets a second Weedle out. Kakuna can paralyze your opponent's active Pokemon, and then Beedrill starts denying energy. Just a great, great, well-designed Pokemon line. I love this deck. I think you will do fantastic on the ranked ladder with it because, again, Executor is so scary to deal with. It punishes slow starts. It's just a nightmare to deal with Executor. And if you can get that Beedrill line on in the back, Executor also just buys you all the time you need to get Beedrill set up. All right, I've gushed too much over Beedrill. This is our number 6 deck. Go try it out. You will have a blast. Coming in at number 5, we have Tinkaton, aka the Gambler. Now, Tinkaton, this deck, I could see it being in the number 6 slot and Beedrill being in number 5. They are doing pretty similar things in tournament, but this seems to be the best way to play Tinkaton. We pair it with Skarmory. Now, I call this the Gambler because Tinkaton is either going to suck or he's going to be awesome. It's just the way it is. It is a coin flip card. There are going to be some games where Tinkaton is able to use its attack, 80 damage, flip heads, and now you're doing 160. You're knocking out anything in front of you, and that feels very good. And then there are going to be games where Tinkaton is just doing 80, 80, 80, and that is not a great damage number for 3 energy cards. It's good. You're going to fall behind in matches where that's happening. So Skarmory, he allows us to put the early game pressure on. This is going to allow us to pick up a prize card early. It's going to really punish single prize decks. Skarmory is just such a good early game attacker in general. It's going to make single prize matchups feel pretty good because Skarmory is just pumping out so much damage against their little guys while they're trying to get set up. Then you have the Tinkaton in the back. Very big Pokemon, hard to deal with. Yeah, just overall, this seems to be the best way. I was trying it with Dialga. That felt fine as well. But I think I like the Skarmory to go for early game prizes and then let Tinkaton clean up in the back. Now, you might be saying, this is stage 2 deck. Where is the Iono? Well, Iono is it's a special card. And there are more factors in play than just, am I playing a stage 2? Yes, okay, I need to put Iono in the deck. Look at how many playable cards we have in here. We have 3 tool cards. We are playing those instantly. We have 2 Pokeballs. We have a communication. We have an X-Speed. We have a lot of cards that when we see in our hand, we just want to play down immediately. And that's going to result in us having pretty small hand sizes. You're not going to get a whole lot of value out of an Iono for 2 or 3 cards. And that's most often what you would be using Iono for. I like the Team Rocket Grunt in here instead to try to slow our opponents down in case we're off to a slow start, or we just need an extra turn to power up Tinkaton. Overall, super, super fun deck. I really enjoy the Tinkaton. I wish I had some of that special art because it is maybe one of the coolest special arts we've ever received for a Pokemon. Yeah, a lot of fun. If you're feeling like gambling, play this deck. Maybe you were looking at that last deck list and you thought, Tilly, not enough gambling. I want to flip more coins. Well, here at our number 4 spot, we have Dialga Goldango. Okay, this deck has actually been doing pretty decent in tournaments. It has been popping up and having some pretty good records, making top cut. And it is a super, super fun deck. Okay, the idea of this, it's very self-explanatory. You use Dialga, you Metallic Turbo to the Goldingus on the bench, and then for the end game, you go up with that Goldango, and you just keep using that attack, flipping. I usually get up. It's very common to get up to just 7 coin flips by the time Goldango, and that's if my opponent had like the perfect start, being able to knock out Dialga after he's Metallic Turboed twice. And not every single deck can do that. You can get this Goldango at a super high damage output very, very quickly. It gets super scary for your opponent. Now, very important, we have 2 Giant Cape and 1 Adamant. The Giant Cape plus the Adamant is going to put our Goldango up to effectively 160 HP. And since it's a non-EX Pokemon, our opponent's not going to get the boost from red to knock it out. So what I like to do is set up for that. Set up the Goldango, giant cape the Goldango, add him in, swing on the first turn, hopefully take a prize, and then next turn I'm swinging for just one more coin flip because I got an attachment for turn, and then Goldango can kind of clean up the game. These games are super, super fast. Very, very fast. You're threatening the Goldango early. They are no more than like 5 of your turns, so what, 10 turn games? It's super quick. You just go Dialga and then Goldango, and if that Goldango doesn't work out, all right, I concede. My bad. Sorry. I'll leave you alone. On to the next one. Yeah, this deck is a lot of fun. If you're just looking for something fun, you don't really have to think too hard, and you like flipping coins, pick this deck. You will not regret it. He is extremely powerful when the coin flips go your way. At number 3, another interchangeable one. This could have been number 4. Goldango could have been number 3. Putting up very, very similar results. We have Meowscarada. You've probably been toying with Meowscarada because it is just such a scary card into these EX decks. You're doing so much damage. You do 130 damage to them for just 2 attachments. Combo that with a red, you're doing 150. Out of all of the ways to play Meowscarada, this has been the best performing one I have seen. Another option is to go without the Snorlax and the berries and just replace them with an Executor line, and that would also be a pretty good deck. But this is the one that has put up the best results in tournaments so far. We use Snorlax. He's going to be our early game attacker while we set up the Meowscarada in the back. Barry's going to let the Snorlax attack for just 2, start dishing out 100 damage. Very, very good. He is hard to deal with. Giant Cape will put him up to 160 damage, 160 HP. And again, he's a 1 prizer. I don't know a deck right now that's putting out that kind of damage consistently without red. And red isn't going to work on your Snorlaxes or your Meowscaradas, besides like Charizard. Yeah, Charizard's going to be able to nuke it, but Charizard does not like attacking into 1 prize Pokemon. You need a lot of energy on Charizard to fire off 3 consecutive attacks, and also a tall ass for you to not get knocked out in return while you're trying to get those 3 prizes with just a Charizard. So anyways, this just seems to be the best way to play it. I like Meowscarada a lot. I'm hopeful that we can get a new way, because you know, like if it were me, I'd be playing this deck with Executor. Again, this is the best placing tournament list. That's why I'm showing this one to you. If it were me, I'd probably go for the Executor over the Snorlax berry package. That would free up some more attachment spots so I can keep attaching to the Meowscarada, get that ready to attack. But you know, I'd have to play around with it. And again, Executor is just a monster early game, just so scary to deal with. Yeah, Meowscarada, very, very cool card. I like it. I'm a big fan of him. Yes, we are playing 1 in this list. This was the tournament list. This was the one that did the best. They just opted for 1 Meowscarada. They said that's all I needed. They didn't need 2. Makes sense, I guess. You make your opponent go through a Snorlax. Then that 1 Meowscarada can either clean up the game, and if it doesn't, then you have the second Snorlax to hopefully pull off another attack with. Yeah, very, very cool. I love this card. I like seeing stage 2s that are actually threatening. We don't get a whole lot of them. We don't get a lot of stage 2s. I think in this game, it's very important that stage 2s have low attack cost or are able to charge energy to themselves and also dish out massive damage. That's kind of what they need to be able to keep up with the basic EXs. You really need the stage 1s to be or the stage 2s to be really powerful, because they suffer from consistency issues, as opposed to the basic EXs, which, you know, do the same thing every single game. No consistency problems. If I'm setting up a stage 2, it better win me the game. That's all I'll say. All right, go try out Meowscarada. Try either the Snorlax build or do what I said. Replace the Snorlax berry package for Executor. Let me know how it's going for you. Number 2 of the best new decks. I'm sorry. It's Giratina 18 Trainers. This one that I'm showing you was a tournament winner. I'm still calling it Giratina 18 Trainers. It's effectively what it is. We just run a 1 of Mewtwo as another attacker for the deck. This, I mean, the Mewtwo seems good in here. The Mewtwo seems good in here. It is a way for you to hit 150 damage without, you know, using the Darkrai package that the other deck uses. This way, we can just do 150, 170 with blue, and that's pretty scary. So it's like, what do I even say about this deck? You just promote Giratina and you charge to it, and you play the cards that are glowing in your hand, and that will usually win you the game. It's just very consistent. If your opponent gets off to a slow start, they're not going to be having fun. Even if they don't get off to a slow start, it's hard to deal with a Giratina. The guy does so much damage. He can knock out any threat very comfortably. The Mewtwo, it's going to allow you to hit even bigger numbers than Giratina. We have the Dawn to move energy around as well. Get that Mewtwo up and going. Mewtwo's also great into other Giratinas because Mewtwo's not going to damage himself. And then you're forcing your opponent, if they're playing Giratina Darkrai, to have the Darkrai ping plus the red. It can be a lot to deal with. Yeah, just a good deck. This, if you said, how do I get to Ultra Ball tier at least as fast as possible, I would just run this deck. Just run this deck. Terrorize the Pokeball tier and the Great Ball tier with this deck. You will be winning a lot more than you're losing just off of consistency. Yeah. Why do these decks exist? Okay, on to number 1. Are you guys really surprised? At number 1, we have Darkrai Giratina. Just a monster of a deck. And the thing about this deck and why I think it's going to be here to stay, why I will confidently say that this is probably just going to be the best new deck we have, is we don't play a lot of Pokemon. We have so many trainer cards to adapt to the meta as it progresses. Maybe there becomes a time where we want more healing, so we go for 2 Pokemon Center ladies instead of just 1 or none like some of these other lists are playing. This list is so changeable. There are so many spots, or so many cards that you can swap out because you're playing so few Pokemon to just give yourself a better matchup against some of the decks you're afraid of. Darkrai plus Giratina, it's going to allow you to hit just disgusting damage numbers. You're going to be able to hit 170 with Giratina. Darkrai is going to be throwing out passive damage, which is going to enable your Cyrus for later on in the game. Just, it's so gross. It's so gross. You're setting up a Giratina for free while also pinging damage with Darkrai. It's just like Darkrai Magneton or Magnezone, but better. It's the same concept. You were using the Magneton to get free energy while you also abuse the Darkrai pings. Now you're just using Giratina instead because he can pump out ridiculous damage numbers, and it's just a basic Pokemon. You don't need to play a full stage 2 line. You have room for so many other helpful trainer cards to just allow you to win the game. Yeah, just a very, very good deck. It's pretty simple, extremely consistent. The number 1 best deck out of this set by far. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you sub to the channel, like the video. I'll see you on the next one.